Getting a Philippines visa in 3 steps. The Philippines has become a popular place for tourism. Its beautiful beaches, friendly people and unique culture make it a great country. If you are considering a trip to the Philippines, you should know that many countries have visa requirements to enter the country unless you come from a country with a visa exemption policy with the Philippines. A Philippine tourist visa is a standard visa, and it is not that hard to acquire. You can get one easily as long as you follow all the essential requirements. Depending on your desired stay in the country, several types of visas can be applied for, from student to working or tourist. Many people from various countries ask how they can obtain a Philippines tourist visa. The rules and regulations for obtaining the Philippines tourist visa are subject to change without prior notice. This set of rules is only applicable if you apply for a Philippines tourist visa in your home country. If you are abroad, the requirements might be different. If you plan to go to the Philippines and want to obtain a tourist visa, it is not very difficult in most countries. The Philippines has one of the friendliest visa policies globally regarding tourism. In this video, I am going to talk about what is a Philippines tourist visa, its requirements, visa cost, visa processing time and most importantly, how you can get a Philippines visa. And if you want to know some bonus tips and per day travel costs in the Philippines, stay till the end. What is a Philippines tourist visa? A Philippines tourist visa is a short-term visa for those of you who want to visit the Philippines for tourism, medical treatment, or a business meeting or conference. If your purpose is not to stay for a long time in the Philippines, then you can apply for this visa. You can also visit family members or attend cultural events with this tourist visa. How long is the visa valid, and how many days can you stay in the Philippines with a tourist visa? Visa validity depends on what type of visa you're applying for. The single-entry visa is valid for 3 months. At the same time, the multiple-entry visa is valid for 6 months and 12 months. Time is subject to visa cost. But no matter how long your visa is valid, once you enter the Philippines, you can stay only 30 days, in most cases, with a tourist visa. After 30 days, if your visa still has validity and it's a multiple-entry visa, you have to leave the Philippines and re-enter the country again for another 30 days. In short, every entry permits you to stay for 30 days. Philippines tourist visa requirements. A valid passport. Your passport must be valid for 6 months from the date of your arrival in the Philippines, and at least 2 blank pages should be left in the passport. You need 2 copies of passport photos, 2 by 2 size. A round-trip plane ticket. You must have sufficient funds, proof of funds. You need to have pre-arranged accommodation booked. A letter from your employer, sponsor indicating your position, salary, length of employment, and purpose of travel to the Philippines. And it would help if you had to have vaccinated against coronavirus. The visa cost. The visa cost is subject to your visa category. The single-entry visa cost is $30. The multiple-entry with 6 months validity visa cost is $60. And multiple entry with a 1-year validity visa cost is $90. Here is how you can get a Philippines visa in 3 steps. Step 1. Complete the application form in visa.gov.ph. The first step is to complete the application form in visa.gov.ph. This site has been designed to help you through the process of obtaining a Philippines tourist visa quickly. I have included the website link in the description. A recently taken photo would be required with the passport biodata page to complete the application online. Once you have entered the information requested on the application form, print it out and sign in. Then send the form to the nearest embassy or consulate of the Philippines. Step 2. Make an appointment with the Philippines embassy nearest to you. It can be done via telephone, email, or even an online appointment system. Appointment slots fill up quickly, so it's best to make one as soon as possible. Step 3. Submit your application to embassy. On the day of submission, make sure you have all the required documents, as I have mentioned before. Double-check all the documents and submit them to the nearby Philippines embassy. That's all. You're done. Now, wait for the response. Visa processing time. After submitting all the necessary documents and declarations to the Philippines embassy or consulate concerned, the verification may take only a couple of days. Sometimes it takes a week, depending on the embassy or consulate from which you have applied. So don't panic if you do not get your visa in 2 days. Bonus tips. To qualify, you must be a citizen of a country that has diplomatic relations with the Philippines. You must not have been convicted of any crime involving moral turpitude. Most people will not be denied a visa if they can prove they have enough money in their bank account, plan to return home after their stay in the Philippines, and pay for their plane tickets and hotel. If you don't fit into those categories, you probably won't get a visa. The requirements to qualify for a Philippines tourist visa are very straightforward. It's always essential to have evidence that you have sufficient funds to cover your trip, so make sure you have more than enough. Always present the required documents when visiting the Philippine embassy or consulate. Prepare well ahead of time, and ensure every paper has been appropriately filled out and signed. Per day travel costs in the Philippines. Many of you have asked how much I am supposed to expense for the Philippines trip, or what is the per day cost in the Philippines. Here is the answer to your questions. Like any place, per day living cost is subject to your choice of lifestyle. Most of your travel expenses are based on food, accommodation, and transportation. So if you choose cheap food, budget accommodation like a hostel, and public transportations, then you can save much of your expenses. A budget trip to the Philippines may cost you at least $40 to $45 per day. Your per meal may cost you $3 to $5, and accommodation cost is $15 to $20, and the rest is for transportation and entertainment costs. If you get your Philippines visa after watching this video, please let me know in the comments.